Hello! Happy Monday. I'm at a farm. Today is Monday. Did everyone had a really good Thanksgiving? So actually I rode my bike to work today because my car is out of battery and I just remembered that this morning. So didn't want to bother anybody. I decided to ride my bike, so I'm pretty exhausted. But this morning I'm gonna stay at farm and do some farm work. Ta-da! Monday is our farm maintenance day, so basically I need to dose the tank. We record everything on this book, so we'll be dosing the tank. I think this week we will be dosing Xylitol. Xylitol is an anti-fungicide, antibactericide, and it's just a really good solution that cleans the water of our tank. So when we do hydroponics, it's really important that we keep our water clean. So it's already 10 o'clock, so let's get started. Okay, so this week we're dosing Xylitol. This. So got a measuring cup here. So here's 5 ounces. I'm gonna pour it into the IBC tank. Yes. Okay, and I'm gonna do 0.5 ounce for the seedling. 0.5 ounce. Okay. Okay, done dosing. And I'm gonna record it on the book. Now, it's really important for us to write down everything we do on the book. It's really important for us to write down everything because at any point when we see the crops are doing good or not good, we know what we did at that time. So it's really important for tracking purposes and for data collecting and analysis. So always write down what you did, same as anything you do, workout, diet, always keep a log, always keep a journal so you know at any point of time what you did and what's the out appearance, what's the result. So I'm writing down everything I'm doing today. So week by week, we keep tracking. Keep tracking. Now next, I'm gonna clean some filters and see you soon. Okay, I'm ready to clean some filters. At this farm, we use swirl filters. There are total 6 of those. Just give you a look. This is our swirl. Follow me. I'm gonna scrub and this is much better. That's it. So I'm just gonna do the same for the rest of the filters until they're all clean, and then we do next thing. Okay, I finally got all the filters cleaned up, and next I'm gonna take water readings. The water readings almost the same routine as cleaning the filters. We're trying to do it every day because you know for sure that where your water is at. When we take water readings, I use my little tool here, my meter. So inside it looks like that. It has a monitor and it has 2 measuring sensors. One is for pH, one is for EC. EC stands for electronic conductivity. So put in a simple way, it means how condensed your nutrient is, because for hydroponics you have to blend in the nutrients, and the water itself doesn't have nutrients. So you definitely wanting to know that how much nutrients in the water there is. So if you look at this meter, this is a really good meter, and it shows pH, can you see it? pH, nutrient, which is EC here, and a temperature. So basically I'm just gonna take this, put it in the tank. I'm gonna show you the readings here. So put it both in the here, and then click any button here to start. So I'm gonna start with pH. Okay, so start my pH reading right now. Give it a second. Sometimes it needs a second to balance, to calibrate. So my pH in the water, can you see? I don't know how you can see. It's a 5.8. Yes, here we go, 5.8, which is great. That's exactly where I want it to be. And then next, I'm gonna click this nutrients for EC. So my EC reading right now is 2.3, which is a tiny little bit higher than what I like it to be, but that would give me the idea of where the water is at and where the lettuce is at. So let's move on to the next tank. Okay, this one, the pH is at 5.8, 5.7, 5.8. EC is also around 2.3. That's okay, we can adjust it later. All right, next. Okay, this one pH reads 5.8, almost identical to the other two. EC 2.2. So all three of those tanks are on the same page, which is good. Then I know how I'm gonna fill the tanks, because every day, I don't know if you realize, but every day the water level gets low in the tank because a lot of are being absorbed by the lettuce. They absorb the water, absorb the nutrients in the water. That's how they grow. And a part of the water level goes down also contributes to the evaporation, because when the lights are on, the LED lights are on, the temperature slightly rises in the room, and so water evaporates with a higher temperature. So every day we refill the tanks, and depends on the readings of the pH and the EC, especially EC. That's gonna give me an idea of I'm gonna refill the tank with the nutrient water that is from the IBC, which is already blended with the nutrients, or I'm gonna refill the tanks with the water from outsourced water like city water. City water is high in pH. City water is about 8.0 in pH, but almost 0 in EC. So when you want to bring the pH up and EC down, that's when you add the city water. But when you actually lower the pH and rise the nutrients, rise the EC, because the nutrient water has pH down blended in, so when you add the blended in pre-mixed water from the IBC tank, that lowers down the pH and balance the EC in your smaller holding tank. So if you don't know what are the tanks I'm talking about, I'm gonna give you a look. So at the bottom tanks I'm talking about. So this one, and that one over there. So those are the tanks that we have under every 2 racks, which constantly feeding every single channel and every single head of the lettuce. So definitely wanted to make sure that they're in a really fine-tuned zone to provide the best results. And again, I'm gonna write down the readings of the water, all the pH and the EC readings I just did with the 3 holding tanks in the same book here. So I'm gonna write it down. Oh, okay, got everything written down, and that's how we track. That's how we track. Because when you see, if you see your lettuce is not doing good, if you see any symptoms or any signs, this is a really good place to go to analyze what could be wrong. And another thing that a lot of people actually came to the garden center, and people who have been growing some hydroponically asked us if we do sell meters like this. If we do sell meters like this for hydroponic pH and EC reading, and the answer is yes, but this particular one, we have it for ourselves. It's a really good one, and it's also very expensive. Retail this one about $300, and we don't want everyone to spend that much money especially if you are just starting up doing hydroponics. You don't need to spend so much money into the investment. There are definitely lower grade of meters that you can use. Does about the same thing, but we're trying to source that from our industry suppliers that may be in the $100 range for measuring pH and EC in your water. But no matter what, it's really important to know your pH and EC before you do anything, because water to hydroponics is like everything. It's like the foundation. So know your water, and that's the number one and step one for a successful hydroponics. So okay, so most of my Monday maintenance work is done, and next I'm just gonna take an overall look at our crop for this week. And I don't know if you can see very clearly, but actually everything looks really good. 3 levels to harvest, and we have 2 levels of the Skyflows and 1 level of the Tropicana. They are all really beautiful. Can you see it? Beautiful. Nice, huh? So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna clean up some dead leaves. There are definitely, you know, some of the bottom leaves that are turning yellow. You should clean this vlog, and I hope you enjoy. See you next time.